Action man, Chris Curtis, man. How you doing, brother?
I am doing great right now, man. My night's been made. I couldn't be happier right now. I'm all smiles.
What's it mean to you to come down here and obviously you've made it to the top. Um, as far as the UFC, fighting on that scene, you still come out here, supporting your local teammates on a regional scene.
It's the world to me, man, because I got signed 2 years ago. I'm 35 now. I'm going 36. Guys, I was on this scene for 13, 14 years, so it's big to me because you always have to support regional shows, guys. Support local shows because if you don't support local shows, the guys you want to see do well don't get experience. So always that. But even more importantly to me than that is I get to see my friends and teammates do well. Orlando Saunders has been one of my pretty much my primary training partner for 2 camps now. And for especially Joaquin Buckley camp, he was my main training partner. We went through hell together. And for me, it's really cool to come in and see how much he's improved. I told him, hey man, you're gonna be one of the best in the world, hands down. I know it. We in the room know it. You're one of the best gyms in the world, and one of the hardest rooms, and you've earned your spot in that room. We see where you can go. We see your potential, and I think nights like tonight are where he gets to see his own growth and how far he's come from where he was and where he is now. And before he walked in, I told him, hey man, forget everything that happened before this moment. This is the only moment that matters. Go show why you belong. And 45 seconds later, he walks away, all business. Greatest thing in the world for me, man.
Man, do you get fighters coming up to you ask for advice? Because obviously you were just in their shoes. Like you said, 2 years ago. And what advice do you give those guys?
I get advice. I get asked about advice about a lot of things, and I laugh because I actually called my mom once, and I was like, "Is it weird people ask me for advice? Because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm guessing." And she's like, "Yeah, that's just what being an adult is. People ask you for advice. You're kind of guessing this won't get you killed." But I understand the struggle and how hard it is, man. So I guess I try to help whenever I can because I definitely know there are times I didn't have anybody kind of helping me or behind me, and it sucked, man. It's the worst. This is the worst job in the world to have if you're doing it on your own. So I always try to support the guys that support me, and I want to be there for my friends and teammates as they make their way up. Because if you can make the trip a little bit easier, then why wouldn't you? Because I would have loved to have that when I came up.
Man, speaking of potential, man, let's talk about yours, man. You've had some good wins, and then
some crushing defeats. Yeah.
Crushing
lows. Yeah.
Highs and lows. Now you got a big fight coming up against Kelvin Gastelum, UFC 287. I don't know how fighters think of him, because he was a contender, before.
Yeah.
And now, do you look at him as like that, or do you look at him as like it's your time now?
I have to look at Kelvin like he's the best Kelvin that we've seen. After I trained for this entire camp, he's the Kelvin that fought Izzy. You can't control how your opponent comes in, but I can control how I see him in my head. And in my head, man, he's still that same monster he's always been. So I just gotta prepare for that. And screw it. What happens, happens, man. We're gonna go out there. I'm gonna punch him. He's gonna punch me. I may win, I may lose. Pretty sure I'll win, but shit happens. So at the end of the day, it's a fight, man. People are like, "Oh, are you scared? Are you concerned?" I used to be, but at this point, I've won really big fights, and I've lost really big fights. I'm gonna win more really big fights. I'm probably gonna lose more really big fights. At the end of the day, I do this because I love it, man. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Winning and losing is part of it. So I just get to fight, and that makes me happy.
I know some times already passed, but have you still feel pissed at being on the undercard? Getting.
No, so it's weird, man. About the undercard thing, it's being in the UFC it's really funny. It's one of the few jobs in the world when you get angry on Twitter, one of the higher ups of the company calls you and why are you so upset? So actually, I talked to Mick Maynard, and he broke it down for me. We had a cool talk with Mick. So Mick's my favorite person in the company, man. He's the nicest dude ever. And he kind of talked me off my leg, off my hissy fit, and he was like, it's cool. So now I'm fine with it. Mick is definitely helped me get perspective on it, and so it's kind of cool when your boss, one of the highest guys in the company, gets a hold of you, what are you doing? Stop being so angry. It's a good thing. So it is what it is. My pay remains the same. I'm making more money than I've ever done in my entire life. I can do what I love. I'm not worried about it. I'll get there.
Hey, Chris, I appreciate the time. And any shout outs you want to give out to? You got any family, friends, sponsors you want to thank?
If I know. Just, you know what? Forget the sponsors, family, friends. Only real shout outs to Orlando, man. He came out here, fought the guy from Texas, did his thing, made it look easy, did beautiful. He did beautiful, man. This is what we've been telling him. And it's, he's standing right here, which is weird to say in third person, but I'm glad that he knows that we're proud of him and that we believed in him from day one. And the days like tonight just prove, why we believe in him, and the best is yet to come for him.
Man, I think that shows a lot about who you are, about your character, man. You're out here talking, it's his night, And
He earned it, man. Like, you can't take that away from him. It's got to be his night. He earned it. He came out here, he put the work in, and put the work in is only half the job. He made the weight, he performed. Couldn't be happier, man. Like, this is the best part about fighting. Besides your own wins, watching your friends, your family win their fights and earn their spots, man. So I couldn't be happier right now.
Hey, Chris, I appreciate the time, man. Go out there and celebrate with Atlanta, man.
No
Best
problem
of
at
luck
all,
there.
man. Thanks,
2-7,
guys.
man.